Here are some of the craziest and most fascinating stories from the Joe Rogan podcast that you can watch to fall asleep, from near-death experiences and encounters with aliens, to mysteries that have lasted for decades, and even real experiences with serial killers. This is going to get really wild. The terrifying story of Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy is one of the most infamous serial killers in history. Known for his brutal methods, his crimes shocked the world and left a lasting scar. But what happens when a mother has a chilling encounter connected to him? This isn't just another headline, it's a personal nightmare that hits way too close to home.
That's sick. That's my favorite follow. That's Stoic Instagram.
Oh, Stoic is great.
Yeah.
Ryan Holiday's great, too.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Holiday, yeah. He looks like the guy that killed 4 college students in Idaho.
He does.
That's who I thought it was. I was like, oh, the Stoic is a mass murderer.
He's out. He's out. He's writing books about just being cool about everything. But
did you hear that, by the way, with Idaho? They're thinking about bringing back the firing squad if he gets convicted.
Oh, my God. Well, they think he might have killed people in Washington State, too. Is that where it was? It was somewhere else. There was another place where he lived where similar crime took place, and they think he was studying crime in college in order to get better at it.
Right.
It's really evil. It's an evil, scary story.
Yeah.
If all this they're accusing him is accurate, it's horrific that guy was out there.
Right. Dude, you want to hear a wild story? So my mom had a friend.
Let's see if we can find out if that's true, though.
Yeah.
Which part?
The part where they think that he might have committed a similar crime. Excuse me, somewhere else.
Here we go. See, this is what's happening now on an intermittent fasting stomach. I'm going to start getting crazy. It's going to, it might get bad in here.
Want to take another sniff?
Why the hell not?
All right, here we go. Ready?
Oh, that was deep.
Oh.
Joey went in.
I went in. Okay. Get in there, Chrissy. Woo, Jamie.
No.
No,
Jamie
said no. I didn't even get his full name out before no was coming out of his
Jamie,
mouth.
that one burned. That one fogged up my glasses. That one burned, baby.
I get it, dude. I want to lift right now. I want to do some deadlifts.
I seriously I want to
Yeah, put the lid on it.
I want to like start doing jujitsu with you. I don't even know how to do it.
There's nothing like a freshie when you open them up fresh.
That is a freshie.
Yeah, when you let them sit for a while, they lose a lot of their potency. Like we had one that was here for a few months, and it had lost a lot of kick. But damn, when you open them fresh.
I don't see anything about other crimes. I'm looking still.
I believe it was where he was originally going to school.
Yeah, it said he was Washington State.
Yeah, but just did you Google may have possibly committed similar crime in Washington State?
Washington crimes.
Okay.
Just Google may have possibly committed, wanted for possibly committing similar crime.
A lot of serial killers come from this part of the country.
He could be major link to other murders. This is it. And this is in Newsweek.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know though.
Oh, it says new evidence recovered may be a major link to the Idaho murders. He's been accused of fatally stabbing University of Idaho students. The search warrant, which was reported by the New York Times, discussed several items which were taken from his residence. Where is the thing about the other cases? Oh, here it is.
Attending another place. But.
And December 30th, he was arrested at his parents' residence in Pennsylvania, extradited to Idaho, where he's currently charged. Koberger was attending Washington State University at the time of the murders.
Yeah, he looks like the guy from the Stoic.
But there was he does looks a lot like him. But Ryan Holiday's quite a bit more handsome. It's
Ryan
like
Holiday's
his older, meaner brother.
Ryan Holiday, hottie with a body.
But
it says Pennsylvania was sifting through cold cases for links to him.
Oh, it was Pennsylvania?
That's where he was found.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's where they pulled him over, and he was in his parents' house. And because remember, the media was saying we don't have any leads, but the FBI was following him across the country.
Yeah, they can't just leak.
Yeah, you
all
can't
that
do that.
information. They're in the middle of an investigation of a fucking psycho.
But it is wild, like with these he's famous now for these murders, but as you said, could be stuff before. My mom had a friend, right? Grew up in Utah. Maybe she's 18, 19 years old, whatever year, 70s, 80s, whatever. Goes on a date with a guy, right? Normal date, just met him, I think at the supermarket. Goes on a date with this guy, and she's at the table with him, and she feels very like a ominous feeling looking at this man. She's like, I'm looking at him and I can see like there's nothing behind his eyes. Like there's just something that I don't like about this guy. So to the point where she has never done this, had never, she was only 18, but since this has never done this, she went to a payphone at the restaurant, called her brother and was like, can you please come pick me up like immediately, and stayed in the bathroom until her brother was outside and went in the car and left. And she was like, I'm just creeped out by this guy. I can't explain it. I'm creeped out. All this energy. I'm creeped out. Now, this man had picked her up from her house. So the brother had a paper route. He's leaving the next morning at 5 a.m., sees some ruffling in the bushes. Okay? Crazy, right? Like whatever. Sees a guy running out of the bushes, says, holy shit, whatever, runs back in the house, tells his mom and dad. Sister wakes up. Says he was wearing like a beige jacket. She's like, that's the guy I was on a date with. Like that. He was like waiting. He must have been like waiting for me, right? Whatever. Goes on. Life goes on. What a psycho, lunatic boyfriend. 3 years later, Ted Bundy on the news. She was on a date with Ted Bundy before he had committed any murders. Or he had committed murders but had not been famous for it yet, had not been convicted of it yet. She said when he saw him, she literally almost fell out of her chair because she was like, that look. She said that Ted Bundy, about, how everyone says he's so handsome, whatever. She said he would get a look over him when he was preying on a victim, which felt she was being preyed on, that she doesn't even look. He's like, he does not look like that. His face configures and contorts to something that looks so sinister that she literally was like, get me away from him now. So I was like, whoa, fucking Teddy B. Imagine you on a date with a young Teddy B. That'd be fucking nuts, dude.
So he had
This story is just as insane as it sounds. Imagine dating someone you think is just a regular guy, only to find out later that he's actually a serial killer. Dating someone like Ted Bundy, before the world knew who he really was, is the kind of experience no mother should ever have to go through. The moment she realized the truth must have been absolutely terrifying. But it didn't stop there. In fact, things only got more disturbing as the story unfolded. And trust me, you won't believe what happens next.
He had already committed murders. So he was looking to murder her, and he was giving that energy out.
She said, based off when all his crimes were exposed, from what the FBI said, when she went on a date with him, let's say it was 1978, he had already been connected to murders in other parts of that, because his first murders were in like the Utah region, and that's where they were.
Holy shit.
Wild, right?
Holy shit.
Dude, fucking, it's pretty nuts. And then I think I might have said this on the last one, but T.T. Jerry, when she was in prison, served prison time with the son of Sam. She shared a wall with the son of Sam.
For those who don't know, Son of Sam was the nickname given to David Berkowitz, a serial killer who terrorized New York City in the late 1970s. Berkowitz went on a killing spree, randomly shooting people, often targeting young couples in parked cars. His first known murders took place in 1976, and the city was gripped by fear as the mysterious killer continued to evade capture. What made the Son of Sam case even more chilling was the way Berkowitz communicated with the police and the public. He sent taunting letters to the media, signing them as Son of Sam. In these letters, he mocked the authorities and made terrifying threats, which only heightened the public's paranoia.
2 murderers. She shared a wall with the son of Sam and Ronald DeFeo from the Amityville Horror House, the man who killed all those people in the movie The Amityville Horror, who was really based off Ronald DeFeo. She was in prison with both of them at the same time, and the prisoners from Escape from Dannemora, who like that Showtime show that they made. So she was in like real deal prisoners. But she said the son of Sam. Now this was months before the Netflix documentary came out. T.T. Jerry said, she's like, the son of Sam, David, did not kill all those people. He was involved in a cult. There were other murderers, but the city pinned it all on him. And then a few months later, this Netflix documentary came out a couple of years ago, basically saying that most likely Son of Sam did not kill all those people. He killed maybe 1 or 2, but there was other murderers that just got away with it.
Do you know the Henry Lee Lucas story?
Henry Lee Lucas. Well,
Henry Lee Lucas, they made a film about him called Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Okay.
And it's a guy who got arrested for 62 murders. And he was basically a drifter, and he was traveling across the country murdering people.
Okay.
But they think that what really happened was they came up to him and they said, hey, Henry, there was a few people that were killed behind the bushes in Indianapolis in 76. We'd sure love to solve that crime. Was that you? Yep, that's me. I killed them too. Well, did you do it with a knife? Because we found a knife. Yep, knife. Killed him with a knife.
Yeah.
And this guy was basically a dullard and may have killed people. Like, a lot of drifters have killed people. But it seems like, Google that. Make sure I'm correct on this. I think now they think that they attributed a bunch of crimes to him that he couldn't possibly have committed.
It's a wild
Look at
thing.
This. The depraved serial killer who confessed to hundreds of murders. See, this is it. So it was more than 62, which is what he was. I think he was originally charged with 600 people. Okay. Drawn together by shared childhood trauma, Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole became lovers, then serial killers who terrorized America in the 1970s. So but he confessed to hundreds of murders, but they think that some of them he couldn't possibly have done.
But did he stay in prison for the rest of his life because of it?
Yeah, I think they might have killed him
In prison.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's still alive. But see if he got if that's a story that they got him to confess to a bunch of murders that he couldn't have actually done.
That's a common thing, though, right? People confess to stuff all the time. There's a show on Apple TV. It was called Blackbird. It just came out last year. It's about a real story about a guy who, what his tactic would be, is he murdered a lot of people, but he would say to the police, "Oh, I murdered that girl in that county. I'm confessing to it." But then they would go through the research and be like, no, you couldn't have possibly. But he would cop to it. And then the cops would be like, he did that like 5 times. And they'd be like, every county he was investigating, they'd be like, that's what he does. He confesses to murders. He's a bullshitter. But he really was killing people. He was confessing to false ones so he could get away with the real ones.
Holy shit.
Wild, right?
Holy shit.
So it's like some of these guys are so smart.
It's a cool show.
Dude, the show Black.
Holy
This actor, I think it's William Hauser. Something.
Good.
This is one of the best actors in my generation. No, Joe, I don't know if you know this guy. This guy's acting is like Daniel Day-Lewis level. He is a phenomenal actor. When you watch the show Blackbird, you cannot believe it. Where I'm like,
and this is on Apple Plus,
Apple TV. This is one of the best shows I've seen. Wow. Came out last summer.
Shit.
This kid is literally like phenomenal. And then I'm watching 101 Dalmatians a day later with my kids, and he's in that. I'm like, look at this fucking lunatic.
He plays Richard Jewell in the Richard Jewell movie about the Olympic Park bombing.
Yep.
Wow.
Unbelievable actor. He was also in that sketch show, I Think You Should Leave, on Netflix, which is one of the funniest sketch shows I've ever seen in my life. He's got great sketches in that. That guy, but that show, Blackbird, was it's unbelievable. So basically what happens is this guy who's from he's from a bunch of movies. This kid is ripped, by the way. This kid has to be intermittent fasting.
He's in not the Watchmen.
Samuel L. Jackson's in it. Yeah. It's a famous movie, and he's excellent in it. But basically, the premise of it's based on a true story. This guy, the hottie with the body, he gets convicted 10 years in prison for gun charges. I think he's a guy out of Massachusetts. So, and he was a good con man, right? This is all real. Good con man, could gift a gab, whatever. So the FBI wants to pin the guy with the mutton chops, Hauser. They want to pin, Larry Hall is his name in real life, they want to pin murders on him. They know that they've kind of caught up to his game now. They know that he lies about murders here to commit murders here. They know it, but they got to get him to confess to one of these murders because they found the girl's body because he was killing kids, like 14-year-old girls, like brutal shit, raping them, horrific. So they say to this kid, to the jacked guy, they say, look, you got the gift of gab. You got 10 years in federal prison, okay? You're 3 months into your sentence. We're going to transfer you to this maximum security prison where Larry Hall is. If you can get him to confess to the murder of this girl that we have evidence on, and you can get that, your sentence is commuted immediately and you're out of prison. That's all you got to do. But he was in a minimum security prison, so he would be able to either coast through 10 years or take a chance and go to the prison with murderers, rapists, and potentially be murdered in the shower stall. But if he can get this guy gift of gab and get him to confess, then he'll get out.
Holy shit.
And that's what the show's about. And it was, dude, amazing show. Like edge of my seat. It was one of the best shows I've seen in a long time.
That's
I want to watch it. I want to watch it again on Smelling Salts.
Thank you for bringing that up. I'm fucking pumped about that. I've been looking for a new show.
The 30-Day Challenge with David Goggins. Let's talk about the time Jesse Itzler shared what happened when he invited David Goggins to live with him for 31 days. You probably know Goggins, the bald, brutally direct ex-Navy SEAL who many consider the toughest and most disciplined man on the planet. This story became legendary not just because of how intense it was, but also because it's honestly hilarious.
I mean, when Goggins lived with me, his rule was we had to do something every day that sucked. That was his rule.
He's the master at that.
Yeah, tell me about it. And
what did he make you do?
Every day sucked. He didn't tell me that we're going to do that 5 times a day. That, you know. No, I mean, I remember one day, well, the first thing we did was he came and he wanted to see how many pull-ups I could do so he could map out the month. He lived with me for a month. And I went to the pull-up bar, and I got like maybe 8 pull-ups, which is an exaggeration. I probably got like 4 pull-ups. You know? A lot of people are listening, so I'll say 8. And then he said, all right, wait 30 seconds, go and do it again. And I went up on the pull-up bar, and I did maybe like 3 or 4. He said, all right, wait 30 seconds, I want you to do it again. And I got up on the pull-up bar, and I did maybe like 1 kipping, you know, getting my damn chin over the bar barely. And I dropped down, I was all jacked up, and I said, all right, well, what's next? He said, well, what's next is we're not leaving here until you do 100 more. We're not leaving the gym until you do 100 more.
That day?
Now. Like right now.
Right now. So you had done like, 7.
I did like probably 7 or 10, and I was like, man, Goggins, that's impossible. And he said, you know, I already know what your biggest problem is. And he's like, the limitations you're putting on yourself are self-imposed. Get the fuck back on the bar. And, you know, Roger that, man. And I got up on the bar, and I over the course of an hour or 2, I did them. And that started our journey of like, you're about to go in a place where you've never been, motherfucker. You know? And, you know, we went, I remember one day I was sitting on the couch and in Connecticut where I was living at the time, and on the ticker on the TV, the emergency broadcast system came up. Stay inside. Freezing rain. Icy conditions, high winds, stay inside. It was like beeping, stay inside. And Goggins was like, this is amazing, man. Let's go for a run. And I'm like, they're telling us the exact opposite, man. They're broadcasting to the whole community to stay inside.
Right.
So we go for a 10-mile run in the blizzard, and we come home, and I lived on a lake, and kids are playing hockey on the lake. So we go down, and he takes his hand, and he moves all the snow off the ice. He gets a boulder. And he breaks the ice, a little hole in the ice with the boulder, and then he takes his hand, and he makes the hole a little bit bigger, and then he jumps in. And then he points at me, and he takes his finger, and he signals for me to jump in. I'm not going in the fucking freezing cold water, because my mother told me as a kid in Long Island, don't go anywhere near the frozen water. If you fall in, you have like a minute, you know?
Right.
He's bathing in it. So, of course, I go in, and he looks at me, he's like, man, you got about 2 to 4 minutes, you're gonna get hypothermia. We just went on a run. We got to get you out of the lake. And I go to get out. He goes, you can't get out. He goes, if your skin touches the ice, it's gonna stick to the ice like the kid in Christmas Story, his tongue that sticks to the pole, you know. So he puts my shoes back on my hands and picks my ass up and puts my sock. I put my socks on or whatever, and I bear crawl out of the ice, and I run up, and I see my wife looking out the window as I'm running into the house, and we come in, and she says to Goggins, you know, like, what's the medical benefit of jumping in a frozen lake? And he said to her, there's no medical benefit. She's like, this is what your husband signed up for. You know, he's like, I want to see how far he's willing to go to get to his goals. And I was like, fuck, this is going to be some 30 days, man. Jesus.
Wow. What was the toughest thing he made you do?
It was just the consistency of it. You know, it was just like, he went everywhere I went. He shadowed me for 30 days. He went to every business meeting. We flew together. He lived, with my wife and I.
Did you think, like, what the fuck did I sign up for?
This is back in 2010. So this is, yes, I did.
And the book came out 2 years ago?
No, I waited 5 years. I didn't, expect it to ever be a book. It was just like, at all. There was no book being discussed. I kept a little blog about it,
So why'd you do it?
I just felt like there was so much in it. There's so many lessons, and it was funny. Fish out of water, like he's coming into our house. My wife owns Spanx. I mean, like the whole dynamic of this shit was crazy. And I just felt there were a lot of lessons that could be learned through it. And, I just took a shot at it.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's a maniac. When he did the podcast, I got here, he showed up super early. And when I got here, he was already with his shirt off doing chin-ups. I was like, I walked into the back where the gym is, and he's in there. I'm like, look at this motherfucker.
From the moment Goggins stepped into Jesse's home, things got weird fast. Picture inviting someone like Goggins, a guy who runs on injured legs, wakes up at 4 a.m. just to put himself through pain, and believes most people are way too soft, to come live with your family.
From the moment Goggins walked into Jesse's house, things got weird fast. Imagine inviting a guy like Goggins, who runs on broken legs, wakes up at 4 a.m. to suffer on purpose, and thinks most people are soft, to come live with your family.
Well, Goggins' story is so fascinating because he wasn't that guy. He was fat and out of shape and unmotivated and lazy and, talked openly about the first time he ran. Like, he quit. He was supposed to, he ran about 3/4 of a mile, I think he said, and quit. And he was exhausted and just drinking milkshakes and all fucked up. And somehow or another decided he's not going to be that guy anymore and went 180 degrees and became this intensely motivated Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the race. I saw him at the race where he broke all the bones in his feet, I saw him. I participated in that race. It's the first time I saw him. That's how I met him. And 2007. And
he broke all the bones in his feet.
He broke. Yeah, he was running 100. I was running this race. It was a 24-hour race as a relay team. I was with 4 friends. And the format of the race is, you run a mile, I run a mile, whatever team runs the most amount of miles wins the race. He had no teammates.
That sounds
I'm like where's the rest of the team?
That sounds like him.
And he weighed a lot at the time. So, I watched him.
Weighed a lot. Was he bodybuilding at the time?
He was just big. Probably weighed 260, 70 pounds, maybe
when
more.
He was deadlifting and all that stuff.
maybe even more.
So was this the one where he ran 24 hours all around just to show that he could run 100 miles?
Yes.
And he wound up shitting himself?
Yes.
And all that? Yeah, he told me about that.
I saw it.
I didn't know he broke all the bones in his feet,
He
though.
broke some bones, yeah.
He didn't even tell me about that. And then he ran a marathon a month later.
Yeah.
He's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he really is.
Yeah.
And he was telling me also that
Explain
he did
that to your wife when you say he's coming to live with you.
You don't know my wife. That ain't happening. She's kick us both out.
I just said it really fast. I told Sarah because I flew out to meet Goggins after the race. I cold called him, and my wife asked me how the meeting went. And in the meeting, I realized like I kind of wanted to get the secret sauce, like what the fuck, try,
Yeah.
And
was that the idea? Like,
yeah, I was like
by being around such an intensely motivated guy, that you would get the rub.
Get the rub, and I'd fallen into a routine I couldn't get out of, and I just, I was like, just get me out of my routine, man,
Right.
And I want to learn from you and that kind of thing. And my wife asked me how the lunch meeting went, and I told her that he's come live with us. She was like, "What?"
So you had this lunch meeting with him, and were you going to propose this before the meeting?
I went to. What happened was I went to the meeting and with no real agenda other than like I want to meet this guy, man. It's 2007. I want to meet him. 2008, something around there, was 10 years ago, and I was just so like drawn to him, and I actually went home and then asked him to come, live with me, and he said yes, and then I told my wife after, like this guy's coming in 2 days.
Now, why did he say yes? I mean, isn't he busy? Did you offer him money? Like, how did this?
No, he was he was active. He was still in the military at the time, and I think I don't know exactly what triggered. I remember asking him to come, and I remember him saying to me, "If you're crazy enough to ask a guy like me to come live with you, motherfucker, I'm crazy enough to come." 3 days later, he shows up with one bag.
Knowing him, that is exactly what it would sound like if he said it with those crazy eyes.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Sweetie, this is David.
Wow. Did you give him an objective? Did you say why you wanted him to come, or what you were trying to get out of it?
At that time in my life, I had just left. If I have my timeline right, I think I just left this private jet car company. I had Marquis Jet. I was just starting out in this coconut water business, and I was in a routine. I was in a rut. I was just doing the same stuff, man. I was so comfortable. And I was just like, just come shake it up, man. You can travel with me. I got some meetings coming up. We'll live together. There was no book. There was no anything.
Right.
The book happened years later. And he said he would do it.
That's crazy that he just agreed.
I loved it, by the way. It was one of the best months of my life. I loved being around him. He's an amazing guy. I loved, we were watching games. We were working out. I was going out midnight, 3 a.m. We were running in the blizzards.
3 a.m.
One day, he was like, we're going to run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Joe, I was like, I got to work. He's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You can work in 48 hours.
Wow.
So I would wake up at midnight. We started at midnight. We would run, let's say it took us 40 minutes. And then we would come back and we'd have, 3 hours and 20 minutes of rest. And then at 4 a.m. we'd go again, 4 miles. Boom, 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 48 hours.
Jesus Christ.
One time, I have fucking a million stories. I mean, we went in the sauna, and he's like, all right, we're going to stay in the sauna for, and I'm a sauna guy. I thought I was a sauna guy, by the way. I thought I was. And actually, this was the steam. And he's like, we're going to stay in here for 30 minutes, 8 ounces of water. Okay. We jack it up. It's fucking cooking in there. I walk in, I'm like, holy fuck. It's so hot in here. He sits down. He's whistling Dixie. Like sitting in the corner doing his shit. I'm like, 8 minutes in and my water's gone. I've already drank my 8 ounces of water. And about 19 minutes in, I'm like, Goggins, I got to get out. He's like, you can't get out. I'm like, no, I'm gonna pass out. I got to get out. He's like, you can't get out. I'm like, no. And I didn't even wait for him to say no again because I'm about to pass out. I can feel myself about to pass out. I open up the door. All the smoke from the steam room goes flying out of the door. I sit right in the chair. He comes storming out. And he looks at me. He's like, oh, fuck, you don't look good. I go, no, I'm going to pass out. He goes, we got to abort. Abort the mission. Like, we're not doing the rest of the 30 minutes. Like, I got to pass. That was the only pass I got.
Because you almost died in the sauna. Or the steam room.
I was fucked up.
Steam room's different because it's moisture.
And you're taking it in. I was taking in, like, the eucalyptus.
You're getting cooked.
Cooked.
Yeah, I mean, you're really getting cooked. It's not like with sauna, you're getting like kind of dry roasted. But in the moisture is different. Like you can't get as hot in a steam room as you can in a sauna.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a series of these, just
getting poached
throughout the
God, no, he would just make these up, like come up with these ideas.
It was just constant, man. Like, I mean, we would go to work. We'd be sitting at work, and I'd have like a 30-minute break, and he'd be like, burpee test. Like, what? I'm at work. He'd be like, I want to see how many burpees you can do in 10 minutes. I'd be like, burpee test. And I would like, in the middle of work, I would like get down, take off my, whatever I was wearing. I would get like my boxers or whatever, like just to get, and I would do as many burpees as I could in 10 minutes and be soaking wet, and I'd walk into my next meeting. And everybody knew that was part of the thing.
So you explained to all these people that wow.
Closed every deal. I closed every deal, man.
Because you're so amped up.
But plus he was there. Who's going to say no? People were fascinated. I'd walk in and they'd be like, at the end of the meeting, I'm like, do you want to talk? It's like, whatever the fuck you guys are in, we're in. We're in.
Wow. That sounds so much better than living with a monk.
It was.
That sounds so much better.
I miss him.
Yeah. Do you keep in touch?
Well, yeah. And we go, I haven't spoken to him in a while, but yeah, I mean, I've known him since 2007 now. I mean, it's been 10 years. Wow.